Welcome to Retirement Talk, the show that gives you wealth strategies that actually work. And we hope this one works for you. It's very important. Many of you are generous. You give to charities. You want to be a generous person. You want to be a giver. That's a great thing. But sometimes we hear about charities that really don't run things very well. And are they legit? And are they using your money properly? What is the cost to run the charity? All those kind of things. So today's show, we're going to talk about ways to vet a charity and give you some information that will really be helpful to you to make sure that you're doing all your due diligence about this topic. And so 3 ways. Number 1, look at the budgets, expense reporting, and financial statements of that company. This should be public knowledge, and you can find out this information. Call the company, let them know that you need these, get them to send them to you, or whatever the way that you have, but it should be public information anyway. But looking to make sure it's worth only a few minutes, or it takes only a few minutes, and it's worth it to do that to make sure that you are talking about or considering a really reputable charity.
Well, and I mean, it's like anything that when you spend money, you want to make sure that you're spending money and you're getting value out of what you're spending. Same thing with when you donate money. If you donate money, you're donating money to a cause or something that you're passionate about, that you want to help, and that you want to be generous to. So asking for a budget, expense reporting, financial statements. I know they're not fun to read. Like for financial guys like us, we love that stuff. For the average person, reading a financial statement is like watching paint dry and everything else. And as if you're going through and you're talking to an organization and they're reluctant to give you their expense report, their financial statements, or their budgets, that should absolutely be a red flag. I can tell you that is something that is very common, and if that's a welcomed question and they give you that information, that's a good sign that you're probably dealing with an organization that isn't, hiding something or not going to use the funds the way you want them to use. So asking for those budgets, expense reports, and financial statements are going to tell you a lot about how they use that money. And then Pete, number 2 is fundraising efficiency. And this is sort of a common misconception sometimes with people, because I've heard a lot of people that will come into our office, and you may feel like this, that you say, if I give $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 to a charity, I want 100% of my money to go towards the cause that I'm giving that money to. Well, unfortunately, 100% of your money going to the charity or to the people that they're serving is probably unrealistic, because you have to spend some money to make money, and charities are no different. They have staffs, for example, that they have to earn a living and support their family just like you and you're working, but making sure that their fundraising is efficient, and there are ways that you can do that, is important. So asking that question is something that you're going to want to do.
Yeah, it's actually a red flag if the expense report is 0 in money spent on fundraising for the year. And what Forbes has found is that for the top 100 charities in the United States, that it costs an average of about 9 cents to raise $1. And really anything up to 10 cents is just fine. You just don't want it to be too much above that or any above that if you can help it, but just kind of make sure that they have an efficiency and they are effective at it, and it does cost money to do so, and that's going to benefit the overall charity in the long run. So if 90, 92, 95% cents of every dollar is being spent on that charity, most of it is actually getting to where you want it to get to. So the third thing is tax exemptions, making sure that this particular charity really is a tax-exempt charity. And for your donation to qualify as that tax deduction, then you need to make sure that it's a 501c3. And you can actually go to a site and find out whether that is. The IRS has a tax-exempt search tool where you can check in the description to find out if this charity is, because you don't want to be giving that money and thinking that you really want and need it for a tax deduction, and then it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to use like your required minimum distributions. If you're age 72 and above, to give towards a charity to avoid paying taxes on that, you're going to want to make sure that they're a 501c3 thing, 501c3, that is valid, that's up to date. And, one thing I'll go back and say, too, about the fundraising efficiency, there's this great site out there called Charity Navigator that's going to show you what a nonprofit's expense ratio is, so that it's not as hard as you might think to unpack this information. And so we're going to actually put a link in the description below. It's called Charity Navigator. And so, finding out how much of every dollar that you donate that goes to the charity is something that's a lot easier than you might think, and verifying that they're a 501c3. So 3 really important things. It's not as difficult as you might think to make sure that you have a high degree of confidence that the money you're giving to causes you're passionate about are going to actually serve the people that you want to serve. Thanks for watching our show. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel to get all of our latest episodes, and you can also go to retirementtalk.com for some great resources. Thanks for listening.